Good morning, the beginning of another week here in the workshop. So let's go and do the first job of the week. What have we got here? Another day, another motor vehicle. This one come from a local garage. Pretty much the same setup as the yellow Mini Cooper S convertible that I got. It got recovered to the garage. They've quoted on the work. Customer doesn't want to do it. He tried to get a few quotes himself elsewhere and he decided it wasn't financially viable, so he sold it to me. I met him directly, so I gave him the money. We sorted the documents out, so nothing to do with the garage. So just so anyone thinks that they're fleecing customers, they're definitely not. It was a legitimate quote, and again, as I say, he shopped around and got other quotes, and they all come back similar money. So he went on We Buy Any Car or whatever it is, whatever car site he found locally, and I matched that price and gave him the money. So we got it back here. It starts. It's got history. It's got one owner from new. Got the logbook. It's got 4 good tyres. It's got a full tank of diesel. He said he was driving along. It went bang. Managed to pull over. And now it seems to be stuck in 5th gear because he was doing 70 at the time. So you can't change out of 5th. You have to start it with the clutch down. It starts fine, no problem at all. There's no errors on the dashboard. It's just obviously stalls when you lift the clutch because it's stuck in a high gear. So I've put it out to a couple of traders just to see if anyone's interested as it is. If not, then I will bring it in and we'll see about changing the gearbox. But for now, I'll leave this here. I'll come back to you when I know more. Right, so here it is. Needs a good clean, I think. We've got leather seats with the Soul logo in. The air box has obviously come off. They probably started getting towards the gearbox. We've got iPod, USB, auxiliary, CD change and all that. We've got 129,000 and a full tank of juice. That's handy. But yeah, the gear stick has gone all floppy. So I need to see whether it's just popped the cables. Imagine if it's just popped the cables. How much fun would that be? But he did say it went bang as he was driving along at 70, so I won't hold much hope. But let's have a look, shall we? Right, the garage I got it from, I've obviously done a bit of diagnostic work because everything is loose. The airbox is off, the battery tray is loose. I've obviously put it back in just so it's able to be started. They've had the top off the gearbox as well. I don't know if you can see that down there. And obviously seen something in there that I can't see at the moment without removing the battery. And as I need to lock it all up outside, I'm going to leave the battery in situ. So, excuse me. Yes, I'll get on the old Tinterweb tonight and see if I can find the gearbox. Right, got the MG ZR in. Before it goes for an MOT, it needs to have the handbrake cables done. So I've undone them from inside. Just take out the little centre console. I'll show you when it goes back in. And just pulled them through now. So I've just got to undo the cables where they're bolted up both sides and change them. So I'm just going to start undoing these bolts that hold them to the car now. Right, we've undone all the 10 mils, so the cables are now hanging loose. So now we just whip the wheels off so we can get to the top of the caliper easily. There we go, old versus new. Just in the caliper, it's got a spring clip holding the thing to the caliper arm, and then there's just a pin and circlip. No, split pin, that's it. Right, so let's reverse the process and put this one back in. And to the side, just making sure they're the same, which they are. So let's stick the other side one in. And there it is. You take off the handbrakes around and then undo them 2 bolts. That takes off the cable guide, and then obviously as that, you can see there, you just rotate those and get them in the right place and get them in. These, oh, what a nightmare. Where they'd put the cables through, riveted them in, they'd left a bit of cable sticking out and I could not get them in. So I had to have them all out again, grind them down at the ends so they would go in. This one still doesn't go in very well, but it's in. We'll see once we've adjust it up whether it pulls itself straight again. Otherwise that'll have to come back out, but we'll try and see if it works first. Next job is to MOT this. I even got made a coffee while I'm waiting. Well, here we are. The start of my mezzanine floor. I got this from a friend of mine. It was removed from a building that they'd bought. It was no good to them, so we've been looking for a mezzanine and this came up. It is a double height one, so it is very tall. But the plan is to chop it here, and then that will be my top floor with them uprights, and then we can we can weld plates on these and have them as more uprights. So we should get 2 floors out of this. There's the RSJ beams, that's the spreaders for the floor, that's the floor plates. So in this, guys, it is 11 foot by 6.5 foot, and then 2 high. So obviously cut down, we will have either 22 foot by 6.5 foot, but I think 6.5 foot to use as a room isn't really wide enough. So I think we're going to go 13 foot by 11 foot. And I have other plans as well. The kitchen's going to come out, and then what I'm going to do is extend that racking up to the wall. Then the mezzanine is going to go here on this back wall. Try and get it as close to the middle pole as possible. And then put racking there, but put one of the big thick, or some of the big thick cross members across and extend the floor over the top. So I'll have racking underneath, like that over there, and then use the top bit to extend the floor so it can go to the edge. So that is the plan, and it comes out, as I say, 13 foot, well, might come out 11, depends which way round we go. So that is the plan. So I need to start cutting those uprights up and working out, well, I need to start removing this kitchen. But first things first, I'm just waiting on a rear caliper for the ZR. So that's going to arrive shortly. I'll get that off the ramp, get the Kia up on the ramp so I can have a look at the gearbox numbers before I order a gearbox. And then my plan is to roll both of these as far forward that way as I can. And then I've got this area here to start removing, start building, etc. I thought I could cut them uprights down and make one floor, put them on the dollies over there so I can wheel it around. And then, yeah, see how we get on. So, let's stop talking. Let's get cracking. Right, well, it's done. It's got a new driver's side front caliper. It's got a new passenger side rear caliper. It's got new handbrake cables, and we now have a very good handbrake. So it's all bled up. It's all MOT'd. It can now go back to the customer. Right, so we have our Kia up on the lift. I'm just come under just to have a look, see if I can get some numbers off the gearbox. I've got that one there, M5CF3, and the same code on there. And a quick look on eBay shows this is the part number or how it's referenced, because they seem to be 1.6 diesel gearboxes, 6 speeds. So My friend said to take the end cover off and check, but I think what I'm going to do, I think I'm just going to buy another gearbox, and then obviously once this one's out, I'll get him to have a look at it, and if it's good, he can repair it if it's cheap enough, and then I can sell it. I don't really want this off the, out for ages while it's being looked at. I'd rather just whip this one out, put another one in, drive it out. So that's what we're going to do. It's going to stay up here for a few days now while I sort out this mezzanine floor. So let's get on with that. I've used these dollies to go underneath the ramp and roll it over up against the wall. Now, I'm in two minds what to do with the next one. Do I have it coming out? And if so, I'd have to move the floor this way. So I'd have to take the kitchen out now and then build the other one next to it because it won't clear that post. So it will come inside the post, probably just to the left of it. That would mean that there is two posts sort of there on that side. You've got to remember the other one's another standalone frame. So it will restrict the gap between there. But then it leaves behind the ramp completely open. Or, because of the height, we've obviously got limited height at this end. Now, another option is to put it behind this floor. Now, I thought 6.5 foot wasn't going to be very big, but actually that will probably be all right as long as I put a fence around it. But looking at where my desk is now and the amount of extra room, it should be all right. So if I go the other side, that means I get headroom on a lot more of the floor. So obviously the other post to be next to this one. And it comes out, I've just measured it, to about, I know it's hard to see, but about here. So it's almost in line with the other lift. So I could still, technically, reverse the trailer underneath. What I might do, hang on, I'm going to sneeze. What I might do is move the whole lot over a touch so that this post here is sort of over this side, in line, or a bit, bearing in mind the ramp's twisted a bit, so you get you have to come in at an angle, so it might keep the angle of the ramp. Then that will bring this over a touch. All right, the center posts won't be in the middle, but I will be able to use, I still think I'll be able to get the trailer in the gap quite easily. So I think what I'll do, I'm going to build the other one here next to this one. So I'll clear all this and I'll start putting it together. And then worst case, I can put the dollies under that corner, that corner, that corner and that corner, and then put the forklift under the middle to roll it all this way a touch if I need to. I think that's what I'm going to do. Right, so I'm going to move all this lot now so I can make a start on building it. Right, well, the other side's up now. Excuse you, Dexter. Yes, we decided to go this way. I think I'm going to now back the trailer in, and I'm sure that'll be absolutely fine. I think width-wise, it's okay. I was worried it was going to be too narrow to actually make use of it, but in person, it's actually all right. So I think this is the way we're going to go. I mean, it's not set in stone, it's not bolted down yet, so we can always move this half over to where the Mini is and see how it sits. Maybe get the kitchen out first. I don't know. There is a slight difference in height because obviously I had to chop it down, so I could only do with what I could work with. I could only chop it where the mounts were. So it is, what, an inch difference. So we can either build that up with flooring or we could raise the bottom. I mean, we haven't got any plates on the bottom yet. I've put that one on there. Maybe we could weld that one to that one. Obviously, it's just with the ratchet. It was put with a ratchet strap while I did that side so I could get this up. Obviously now I could take off the ratchet strap, but it's not doing any harm there. This side hasn't got a plate on it at the moment, obviously, so it's probably a bit lopsided. So once we get a bit of plate under there, we could probably just build the floor up, put 2 levels, you know, 2 bits of wood as opposed to 1. Or we have a little ramp and a step. It doesn't really make any difference as long as I don't trip. So yes, there we go. Now we've got to get the metal floor up there. We've got several sizes of floor, so I don't really know how it's going to go. I suppose we've just got to get some bits up there and see how it sits. So, right, that's another day done. There you go, back the trailer in, no problem at all. In between the legs. So, I think that is pretty much the position decided. If I can maybe get either a spiral staircase or a normal set of stairs to go up this side here, or even from the back forward to get, well no, we're not going to get any different head height, are we? Yeah, I reckon we'll have to see. Have to look out for some staircases. Have to measure how high that is and see what we can find. Right, well, next job is to work out the flooring for up there. But first of all, I've got to make a start on the Kia, as the gearbox, the replacement gearbox, is en route. So I'm going to take some time out for the mezzanine for today and just prep the Kia ready for the gearbox to arrive. So I'm going to start a new video on this. So if you're interested, that'll be the next one. I will come back on this video when I start getting the floor up there. Right, wish me luck. The forklift creaks like hell getting them up there. I hate ladders. I hate especially walking on something like this. So I've chained my ladder to it, so at least when I'm up there, I can't knock it over. So, right, let's see what we can do. I've got some floor up. It is all just resting there at the moment. I haven't screwed it down. I did this side first with the smaller panels, and they don't quite fit right. I've had to overlap there so as not to fall through. So I done that side, and then I went over to this side and used the larger panels. Now the reason I did it this way around was because the larger panels were behind the smaller ones, so it was easier to get the smaller ones first. But actually, the larger panels, they all fit. So there's 2 on this side that are slightly longer, and they go from the outer beam and they screw to this beam, and then slightly shorter panels that screw to that beam as well and go to the end. So, question is, do I take all those down again and try these ones? Now these ones have all been cut up slightly, so I don't know if they're going to fit, or do I just go with those ones? It's bloody hard work up there, I tell you. They're not light. What I might do is lay these ones out, have a measure and see whether it's worth changing over. I don't want to get them up there and find out that they're offcuts for something else and they're not quite right. But the fact that those ones fit so well on that side makes me think these are probably the ones for that side. They have got, some of them have got cutouts, which I thought was to go around the posts, but they're odd. Maybe that it had fencing around it and these went around that, but I don't know. But anyway, I'll lay them out tomorrow because it's now the end of the day, and then I'll see whether it's worth putting them up there and swapping them over. What I need to do first really is go and screw all that one down so that's solid, and then I can literally walk along there without worrying. So, right, the end of another day. So it's the next morning, and again, I've decided to swap at least 2 of them out. So when I went through them this morning, like I said, I was going to lay them out and measure. Well, 2 of them are really cut up and 2 of them are pretty straight. So I'm going to go with the 2 straight ones on this side. So I've been up there and taken down all the half ones, or, you know, square ones. And I'm about to try and lift up the 2 long ones. So let's try that now. Well, that was a lot of time and effort wasted for not a lot of gain, really. Those 2 long ones are fine, but I've still got to use 2 of those anyway. So I could have just left the other 4 up there and left it as it was. But never mind, we are where we are. The other 2 slightly longer ones that would have gone with that are too narrow. They don't cover the whole top, so I don't know where they went. If they're, well, they've got to be for this, mind you, they can't be all for this floor, because obviously the square ones and the oblong ones are much more floor area than the floor. So I don't know what them thin ones would have been for. There's no point in me putting them up there because there'll be big holes, big gaps. So yeah, unless the only other option is, as I need to build this side up, do I put them up there, the long ones, to go from end to end, and then completely cover the floor in the square ones to bring the level up? That's another option. We're only going to scrap them or give them away or whatever, so do we do that and make use of them? I'm going to have a cup of tea and a ponder. Right, well, it's Friday afternoon. The week is done. I've been up here today. I've screwed all the floor down. You can see all the Tech screws going through the cross members. So yeah, so what we did in the end, we got the two big sheets at the hole, worked out that they actually should go on this end, not that end like I had before, and spun round the other way, and then all the holes lined up. So yeah, so then I had to basically remove the floor and start again. So that's what I did. So the two long ones are there. Then we put two short ones here, which left a gap just between the last galvanised cross member and the pillar. And we have then put 6 more smaller ones all across the top. So it's double skinned on there. I will need to drill and screw the top ones to the bottom ones at some point. But for this week, I think we've had a good week. Just still need to sort out some steps. The ladder isn't cutting it. And the gearbox is out of the Kia, but the new one hasn't turned up. It was supposed to be yesterday. I was hoping to have this on the road this weekend, but never mind. So that's a week here in the workshop and what we've been up to. So thanks for watching. Like, subscribe and share, and I'll see you in the next video. Cheers guys, have a good weekend.